and welcome to the Power Up Talk Show, a talk show where we bring together community leaders and inspirational people that are making a difference in our world. I am Sandy Spady, your host, and today I have Allison Bring. Hello, lovely.
Hello, Sandy.
Okay, I'm going to share some greatness about Allison because she has done a lot. She's the manager of the amazing brand new Zenia Event Center. I had One with Voices, our event there last year, and it was spectacular, and we were signed up again. But it's a premier event. It's known for its welcoming. It's very bright, beautiful lighting, beautiful atmosphere, and very much to detail. And there's a reason behind that Allison's so good at that. She's actively involved in many organizations like Junior League of Omaha, West Old Chamber, Greater Omaha Chamber, mentor with teammates, which I love teammates program because I was a teammate mentor. She's been recognized as Omaha's 40 under 40, give it up. And that's by the Midland Business Journal. And then she's also Woman to Watch by the Junior League of Omaha. Allison. Okay. Your background is interior designer. Mm-hmm. Gone to event designer, I feel like, right? It's all the detail, just like an interior designer, and then you have creativity. What made you switch from interior designer to event designer, and how do you bring all that experience in, really?
Well, to start, it kind of fell into my lap. So originally, I joined the team with Zenia about 2 years ago to date. And originally at the time, I was wanting to open my own business. I wanted to just meet more people, see more people, do more things. And when this opportunity came about, I said, why not? Let's see what happens. And here we are 2 years later with a brand new event venue. As far as how does it like going from interior design to event world, they're pretty much the same. Or apples to apples for the most part, as far as, you work with an upholsterer to do your couch. Well, you have to work with a rental company to do your linens. And, you want to put some pretty, like jewelry is what we called it in the interior design world. And so it was, your florals, your pillows, your drapery rods, all those kind of things. Well, you still need silverware, you still need florals, you need all of that in the event world too. And so it was just a very easy transition over, and it was a great opportunity.
So I feel like it really blends together because she's very great with detail. And if you are doing events, which I have done events my entire life, you need that detailed person, right? So she thinks of everything and she does the extra work behind it. I've had other, different events that maybe weren't as smoothly ran as Zenia, and I will never give you up unless you break up with me. We're going to stay there forever. Yay. The one thing about, I think, interior design too is that creativity, right? Mm-hmm. You are very creative, when it comes to planning the event. You create, you think outside of the box. And I also feel as an interior designer, you think outside of the box. So I think it's a great compliment. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it with my own eyes. So make sure you get Zenia for your event because it's amazing. All right, community development, right?
Yes.
You are woman 40 under 40, yes. Right? Award winner. And that really is a compliment because it's like a future leader, right? Mm-hmm. You are being a leader in our community. What does being a leader in the community mean to you? And what would you like to do now that you're getting a taste of it, really?
Well, to me, just being a leader in the community is just being an advocate for somebody else. And so, I'll use this Junior League as my example. When I joined the Junior League 7 years ago now, I think it's 7 years. Yeah. I was a low man on the totem pole. But I knew I wanted to be the president of the Junior League at some point. I am still not there, which is perfectly okay. But I knew I wanted to be a voice for the membership. And so being a leader in the community is the same thing. I get to ask, nonprofits, if you could have the perfect world in an event, what would that look like? Or if you could have more funding or somebody could sponsor something for you, what does that look like? And Zenia is that outlet that, maybe I can't financially give to the community, but I can give them a space that gives them the opportunity to meet for their 4 or 5 people or meet for their 500 person gala when it gets to that point. We had a brand new nonprofit start last year that had their very first event with us. And just watching the stars in their eyes was amazing. And they're coming back this year. I got the text last night, and I'm not gonna lie, I definitely did a happy dance in the whole 9 yards because I believe in their mission and I'm excited for them and to see where they go in the future. And so, just being a young leader and figuring out how to be the voice for those that don't feel like they have a voice maybe yet, or they don't have the confidence that they feel like they have the voice yet, being that, hey, I can do it, so can you.
Yes, I love that because you really can showcase, like you say, nonprofits. But I also love that you do Women with Voices, like a totally different type of event. But you also do little things too, right? That you wouldn't guess. You're part of my Masterminds program, which is amazing. And we meet monthly, and we have a beautiful room with a projection to do our PowerPoints. So to say about the little other things that maybe people wouldn't think about, that Zenia really is a great thing to be a part of.
We're a little bit of everything. So Zenia is made to be a community venue. So with that, we can host like HOA meetings, which we do host one every other month. We can do your masterminds group that you're talking about. The West Oak Chamber utilizes it for one of their not coffee and connection, just one of their coffee groups in the morning. We've had graduation parties, baby showers, bridal showers. We've had financial conferences where we've had advisors come in and do like teaching sessions or like learning sessions. We've had the Hills Montessori School. They are located just on top of the hill from us. They've come down to do some teacher training, like study hall period type things. We're in the process of creating a ghost kitchen at Zenia. I don't like the word ghost, so we're going to call it the Cloud Kitchen.
Ooh, I like that.
And so, nonprofit or corporate or just chefs that don't have a location necessarily for themselves can come and utilize our giant commercial kitchen. And so there's been some different connections in some of my networking groups that, they have this small little, I can't remember what the group's called off the top of my head, but it is a Down syndrome like cafe, if I remember it correctly.
Destiny.
There you go.
Destiny, right? Is that the name of it?
Destiny something.
Alan Joan, a good friend of mine, a Women with Voices
Yes.
speaker a year ago. That's her heart. Yes.
It was like they had reached out and figuring out can we create that niche for them that is that tailoring of how to, teach how to do serving or meal prep or, what are some of those logistics. But Zenia was purposely created to be a home for anybody. And so Zenia's root word is exenia, which means hospitality in the Greek culture. And that's exactly what we want for Zenia, that you can come in and feel at home. So if it is girls just need to have a wine night, or it is you do have to have an official meeting, that no matter what plethora of what you're at, you can be accommodated in some capacity here.
And what is also nice is that with the Women with Voices event, we had breakout sessions. And so not every location event center has really cool breakout sessions. And share with the audience the new thing that's coming with your sound system and all that presentation.
Yes. So in our ballroom right now is the only space that has Bluetooth syncing. So you can sit on one side of the room and broadcast to our walls or our projector system without having to plug into our system necessarily with a cord. Our mic system is that way too. Now, here in the next week and a half or so, we will have technology throughout the entire building, and the entire building will be pretty much Bluetoothed. So our conference room, which holds about 25 people, that will have, there won't be no microphone, there we go, a system in there, but there will be a giant TV on the wall with a speaker with a built-in camera, so you can see if you're doing Zoom, in and out broadcasting, that kind of stuff happening. As well as our, we call it our pre-function area. It's kind of a long hallway. It's where a lot of the vendors from Sandy's Women with Voices were at. That will have a giant TV there that we could do smaller presentations and or show slideshows or promote different businesses, kind of whatever the plethora of people want to use. That'll have a zip strip plug-in, or it'll have the Bluetooth capabilities. And then that audio system is already built into our ballroom, so all of that system will kind of stay the same. And then in the room where we meet for masterminds, that room will have a giant projector being added to the wall or to the ceiling to go down to our wall. And we are having some of the ceiling tiles will have microphone, like a speaker system in them. And then my favorite part is it's called the Owl system. And if you're not familiar with it, it's this tower that literally looks like an owl. and it has a 360 camera on the top of it, and so it can see everything that's in the room, and it zooms in whoever's talking, and it also helps with just the, if you are on Zoom and you can't hear the speaker talking, which is one of the conversations we've had with the Masterminds group, this will help alleviate that problem. You just plug it into the computer that is streaming the broadcast, and the people on the computer or that are coming in telecommuting in can see everything perfectly.
That is great, because I do have people that, come in Zoom and then in person, and you have a speaker like myself sometimes that likes to wander and talk. This is going to be perfect for that. I'm so excited. Yay. So let's talk more about Allison. What, growing up in, where'd you grow up at? In a small town, right?
Yeah, small town, David City.
Yeah, David City up by Columbus. Yes. What are some values that you notice that you bring back now as an adult that you've learned in growing up in a small fun city? How big was it? 500,000?
No, a little bit bigger. It's I think right at 3,000.
Okay.
So it's a little bit bigger.
Little bit bigger than yep, a little bit bigger, yes.
Well, I grew up on a farm out there, and so my parents were very hardcore about getting up and doing the cattle in the morning, and we only had a couple, or the horses, the chickens, things like that. And so hard work was definitely something that has followed me growing up all the way. The community involvement definitely has stemmed from there. My parents at a very young age kind of taught us kids that we needed to go visit a nursing home and go read to the elderly or go paint nails or just go talk to them. They might be lonely, things like that. And so that's kind of where my whole, starting with community, has moved into, hey, I'm in Omaha, I need to be a leader, I need to be involved with nonprofits, I need to do the mentorship program, all of those kind of things kind of stemmed from. So I'd say those are probably the two big ones, my work ethic and just my involvement with the community and just meeting people where they're at.
That's so true. Growing up in O'Neill, like myself, we had 5,000, just a little bigger.
A little bigger.
But the power of community, right? Everyone helps everyone out. You have a voice, right? If someone needs help, usually they jump in, and you have really great. I mean, I detasseled and car helped, multiple summers, right? It's that hard work, I think, that really brings when you go on to adulthood. Alrighty, Allison, what about Junior League, right? Tell me, what is that? I've heard a little bit, but tell me more about that. What is that?
So I'm going to tell you what I think Junior League is versus what it actually, the whole definition, because I don't have that memorized. To me, the Junior League is a women's organization that is here to support the community. So it is 106 years old, getting ready to go on 107. And it is an organization of all women. It is to help with whatever in the community. So right now our focus area is access to healthy food. So we partner with Completely Kids and Together's Community Bank or Community Garden, Access Period, anybody that's going to be in major need, but the food insecurity specifically. So with our Completely Kids program that we have, it's called Kitchen Connections. With that program, when we started it 3 years ago, it was geared to teach children that are aging out of the foster system, that were going to have to be on their own at some point, how to meal budget or food budget and go grocery shopping, how to cook, knife skills, all the things that typically people do kind of learn as they're at a very young age and as they grow up, that sometimes when you're jumping from house to house to house, that you don't get to meet those kind of skills because you possibly getting ripped away at the middle of the night, or maybe mom doesn't cook, that she just orders takeout, and so things like that. And so that was the whole goal, was to help get these kids feel a little bit more established and more independent on themselves, that they can feel confident in those. In the last year to two, we've seen that shift over, that it's young adults, that maybe it's a sister that needs to provide for her younger siblings because mom and dad have 2 or 3 shifts of work they're doing, or it is a young mother that, something happened in the family and now she's on her own with a kid, or, it is still the foster kids that are aging out and things like that, trying to be there more for the community. We were at the ICANN conference last year and as well as this year, and we were at the Code conference last year, and we will be at the upcoming Power Seminar.
At the chamber?
Yeah, it was the new name for it. It's not called the Code conference any longer.
Power,
and so we'll be at that this year. But it was sitting in those last 3 sessions, we saw a big need of, there were men that wanted to be involved, and they're like, hey, I want to give money to this and or I want to be in it because I don't know how to cook. My wife does. And so just kind of figuring out how to expand this program entirely. And then with the gardens, Together is the one that's near and dear to my heart. I love everything about that nonprofit. It's down on 24th Street, but they have community gardens as well as internally they've got their like food pantry that you can go. They have financial assistance and some other amenities that I don't know everything about. But I enjoy that because the community can come and pick out of the garden if they'd like, and or they can wait and together we'll harvest that stuff. And they do a mobile drive-by type like food pantry where you can fill out a sheet the week before and come mobilely pick up your food, and people will load it into your car, and you just have to give them a slip of paper of like how many people are in your family or how many families you're picking up for, things like that. And so, you know, figuring out how to help the community in small ways and really make that needle, especially with the food insecurity, move the right direction.
That's beautiful. So I was on a board. I was a board member for Costa, which is foster care, right? I'm sorry that foster care is very much. You know, I care a lot for that. I dance with the youth emergency services, raise money for awareness, right? That's beautiful. Do you pick a new theme every year? Is that the theme all the time for Junior League?
Nope. So we typically pick a focus area for about 3 to 5 years.
Nice.
So yeah, that's our big one right now. So probably starting about next year, we'll create an ad hoc committee that's going to come in. They'll start investigating and see, you know, what is the biggest need in Omaha right now? Is it still the food insecurity, or, you know, is it job placement, or is it whatever it might be? I can't think of any real good examples at this moment, sadly. But yeah, it'll start with that. And then, you know, if there is, you know, CASA wants to reach out and say, hey, you know, we really need help. Like, would you entertain making us your focus area? We typically, that ad hoc committee will kind of decipher in all these things. They'll do a bunch of research behind data to sway it one way or the other. They'll present it to the board and to our management team. From there, we'll have a lot of discussions. And then ultimately, we let the members at large, we'll get to make a decision and say, yeah, we as a league feel like we should go in this direction. And so
how many people's in that organization?
So active members right now are at, I think it's 110, and then sustaining members, I think there's right at 500 or right below. Wow. And so, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I've heard a lot of things. I'm a networker, right? Yes. But I have not heard. I have to come visit. I think we talked about that.
Yes.
Now let's talk about teammates, because I had a lovely teammate, Alyssa, for years, and I just loved watching her grow, right? Tell us about teammates. Why teammates, and what are you doing? Like, what's the why behind that?
I've been in a couple different capacities of teammates. So teammates became a big piece of my heart early on. My dad's construction company years ago helped with some of the additions in Memorial Stadium. And so I've always been a bleed red, like diehard Husker fan, just because my dad was, and my siblings and stuff like that. And, you know, getting the first time you get to go to Memorial Stadium, it's the best feeling in the world. And I have that feeling every time I go to Memorial Stadium. And so getting to meet, you know, Tom Osborne a couple different times and just understanding more of their mission. Again, I'm a big talking person. I'm the oldest of my siblings, but my youngest set of siblings are only 11 months younger. And so I never really had like that little sister like vibe that everybody else had. My sister was essentially my age. And so that always kind of pulled at my heart of, hey, I want to do something and be involved. And through the Junior League, one of the girls that I became really close with, she had a tie to the Teammates program, to their annual gala and doing like their auction committee and things like that. And so I got super involved with that, got to meet some of the different, you know, key players with that. Des Moines Adams is a big one right now. I think, if I remember right, he's the CEO. But getting to meet him and like having conversations with him, and then a couple other of like the office administrators having conversations like, you really should be a teammate, Allison. Like, you would love it, and you'd be the perfect like person for a little mentee. And so at the time where I was working with interior design, that was not an option. I couldn't make it work no matter how hard I tried. So I stayed on the auction committee. And about a year and a half ago, I told my board of directors with Zenia that I was going to become a teammate, and, you know, gave them the whole rationale of why I wanted to be. And they're like, sounds great, Allison. And so This year, I had my first mentee. We literally met yesterday and we both shed a couple tears.
Yay!
Because now it is the summer for her. She will be done with school. She graduates 5th grade this week. And so I will see her as a middle schooler in a couple months.
Nice.
And it's just one of those things, like, if you follow me on social media, you see it. Like, I don't post very often because we're not supposed to with teammates. But it is the highlight of my day, like getting to see her. And yesterday I only got to see her for about 20 minutes because they were going bowling and all these other fun things because it's the last week of school, and school is not school the last week of school.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. And so I only got to see her for a very short time. But in that short time, we had a major heart-to-heart of she's scared to be a 6th grader and what that's going to look like, and study hall and a new school, and telling her, yeah, I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like. And I went from going from one school and moving and going to a new school. Yours is on top of the hill. And, I will walk this with you. And, just being there for her means more to me than probably to her, I would say, honestly.
I always say I'm a public speaker, right? I speak about the power of community and connection. And you always, whatever you give, time, tell it, treasures, you get so much more. But it's not why you do it. You do it because you really care. And still to this day, I watch my teammate. She's in California. She's a designer. And it's you said something, walk the journey, walk the way with them. Yeah. Like, that is what it is. You're not there to, give them advice. You're just there to be with them and to listen and walk the journey with them.
Well, and even yesterday I told her, like, figuratively and like metaphorically, like, I am there metaphorically to always be there. Like, I'm always going to be in her corner to help her. But literally, we had that conversation. She was scared about going to the new school, and I told her, I'm like, I was scared the first time I came here to meet you. I didn't know what door I was supposed to go to. There's like 10 doors in this building. And then, where's the office, and signing in, signing out, all of that. And so I think by the end of our meeting, our 20 minutes, it was very real of, oh, well, okay. Because Allison said she would walk the halls with me and show me everything, and I would show her where I go to class. I can do this. And so it was just that, literally, I don't know the building, so why don't you walk me through it, and then I will help you walk through life on different topics that way.
That's beautiful. That's a testimonial for teammates right there. I'm like, can't get better than that, people. And that is beautiful. And you just see them grow with you, right? You're going to love it. I'm so glad you're doing that. And that's part of being in community, right? All righty. If you could have your talents, your talents of interior and event coordinator, the biggest Omaha party bash at Zenia, no budget. Who would you have? What would you do? Like, no budget. What would you do? And who would you have it for? The Omaha Party of the Year, Zenia.
I don't know if I could pick one person. I think I would do a week-long party, to be honest.
Like it?
I think we would start like sundown Sunday night, and it would go all week until like early morning the next Sunday. And honestly, I think I'd just make it toward the community. So if that is, our neighbors at Symphony Point Retirement Community, or Montessori, the Hills Montessori up on the hill, or it is Sandy Spady with Women with Voices, or it is Inspire Collaborative, or whatever it might be, that it truly is made for the community. And it's just, hey, we're gonna have a different DJ or band every single night. We're gonna have these giant fireworks. We're going to bring cold sparks in. We're gonna have the best food, from private chefs all the way to catering. The theme will change every night, I think, is what I would do. So maybe one night is neon, and the next night is
disco.
Yeah, disco. Maybe there's a Barbie night in there, or a Taylor Swift. I know she's like giant right now. But throwing in every day having a different type of celebration and highlighting different individuals for that, or organizations.
Gosh, I think that's wonderful. Think of the people that get exposed, and in a good time, right? Yes. I think about that band for your ribbon cutting, the orchestra band. Yes. Like, what were they called?
Downtown Collective.
Oh, they had me at the first trumpet and everything.
Yes.
You'd have them. Yeah, that would be fun. No budget. Let's just shout it out there. Maybe Zenia might want to do that. You never know. We get sponsors. I don't know, right? Life's a party.
Host a party. Yeah, let me know.
Let's host a party. I love that. I love that. All right. We all have super strengths in our world, and I love to share your super strength. Like, what's your super strength that you think you have?
Listening, maybe. I talk a lot. There's no doubt. If you ask my husband or friends, I have no problem because I don't like silence. But I think my strong suit is really listening and just hearing, whether it's a conversation that, there's a disagreement, or it is understanding a bride of what she envisions for her day, or, there was a problem, like, you had an event and there was a problem, being able to come back and say, hey, Allison, we had problems. Here's everything that's wrong, and this is what you need to do. I can't promise 100% of the time I'm listening and be like, yeah, that's an action item, but at least hearing out the client or hearing out the person to have that conversation to say, I acknowledge what your feelings are, and being able to respond back to that of, I can do this or I can't do this, because there's a lot of give and take on that. So I can't always say, yeah, I'm going to listen to you. And Sammy, I know you want 700 people to come to Women with Voices next year. My building can't hold that.
Nope. I'm happy with 350, 450. That's good. And that is so true. Working with you, Allison, you really do listen. And, not everything's going to be perfect. It never is. But to listen and know that you're heard is so important. And I completely recommend going to Zenia, having Allison do your event, because she is a lifesaver. So we have 49 seconds. How can people get a hold of you to plan these great events?
There's a lot of different ways. So you can get on our website. I have an inquiry form there under the contact tab. You can follow me on social media. So I'm on Instagram as Zenia Omaha. You can follow me on Facebook or get on Facebook that way. And that is Zenia Omaha Event Center and or Allison at Zenia. Cell phone, you're always welcome to call, text, tweet, whatever, me at 402-312-2169 or email. You'll find all of that information on our website. Or just tag me in something. Allison, I need help. Or, hey, come have coffee. I'm around.
Well, thank you for being my guest.
Yes,
You're
thank you so
wonderful.
much.
Remember, go plan a party, have fun. Life's too serious. Let's go have fun and have it at Zenia. Yay. Thank you.